Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So this evening's topic will be volunteering. And at my university, Howard University, I had the opportunity to partake in a trip called Alternative Spring Break. It's the only trip like this in the United States. Pretty much, a bunch of students, roughly 300 students, come together and volunteer their spring break to better the world. We have different locations. I was at the Detroit location. Um, and during this program, I found myself not in the best conditions. The trip is geared towards helping us get out of our comfort zone. So what they don't do is go buy us lavish hotels and luxury cars to transport us in. We're in voluntary locations such as churches, basements of churches, and things like that. So during this trip, I found myself in not in the best conditions. But even though I wasn't in the best conditions, I for some reason was still happy. We were all still in the group, cracking jokes, having fun, even though we were taking cold showers, even though we were sleeping on the floor and sleeping back, we were yet still happy. And from this experience, I gained that everybody should volunteer some portion of their time. They should give some of their time to their community and to their environment. The U.S. Department of Labor says that only 25% of the U.S. population volunteers their time. And in my opinion, that's a kind of a gross overstatement that it's 25%. I believe it's actually probably yet less because in their standards, you could only volunteer one time, and that counts as being a person that volunteers. And that was over, I think, like a 6 months period. So if you volunteer one time over 6 months, you are counted in that 25%. But what I found is that there are pretty much there's personal benefits, world benefits, and economic benefits. Personal benefits, again, back to my story, is that feeling of fulfillment, of being happy, the feeling of those positive endorphins running through your body, because now you're giving back to someone, you're helping someone, and therefore making yourself also feel better. Um, HelpGuide.org has found that there's a less mortality rate associated to those who volunteer their time. So if you volunteer your time, you're automatically extending your life expectancy. And also, it combats heart disease and chronic pain. So if you have chronic pain, heart disease, anything associated with those diseases, HelpGuide.org is saying that if you volunteer, you're diminishing those diseases and disorders in your life. And also, there's mind benefits to your person. It actually increases confidence. By giving to your community, by helping your community, by saying that you had a hand in something, it's actually boosting your confidence that you're an acting part of society and not simply just laying back doing nothing. And it also combats depression, that you're being interactive with people, you're talking with people, influencing the world, and therefore you're actually happier. You're not as depressed as often. And also those world benefits. You're improving the world around you, your community. So your community for your children, your community for your family members, community for yourself, and for future generations, you're improving the world. And it's interesting, a group of people who are very intuitive on world improvement, who have those dreams and desires are college students. And 40% of the volunteer force are college students, are actually college graduates. And the economic benefits that come from our volunteering is also it's intuitive with the idea that we're gaining more skills. We're not simply, sitting at home, entertaining ourselves, but we're doing something positive, something active that builds skills. And these skills provide for a better career experience. Yes.
Suppose I don't have time to volunteer.
If you don't have a lot of
A
time
lot
to
of
volunteer,
time to, yeah.
it's interesting because the statistics say nothing about the duration of time that you volunteer. So whatever time you have available, whatever time you opt to give up, it's up to you. There's no requirement. It's not saying if you don't do 20 hours of volunteer a month that you're not going to reap the benefits. It's saying whatever amount of time you give, you're going to reap benefits. And so again, with the economic benefits, you're getting career experience from these volunteer experiences. You're building old skills. So say if you have a skill that you're not aware of, if you say that you have a skill that you haven't used in a while, by volunteering and working over and over and over, repetitively, you're building that skill, and therefore you're making your professional world more prized. And also, worldvolunteer.org states that only 73% of volunteers have a higher are prized over non-volunteers. So, say if you apply for a position, you as an applicant will be looked at better than other individuals simply because of your volunteer experience. And then 94% of employees believe that volunteering adds to your skill sets. So your volunteering is not just some action that no one cares about. Employers actually believe that this is better for you. And also 94% of individuals who have received pay increases or promotions say that they obtained those skills that got them that promotion by volunteering. So it has direct influences and benefits to your economic world. And it's also because of your networking. Through your networking, you're reaching more people, you're interacting with more people. Again, building your skills. So your social skills and your networking skills, you're building those skills. And also, a larger number of people are finding their spouses and also business partners by volunteering. And it's simply because of the interaction. You're meeting people and you're working, and therefore you're simply bettering your networking. Any more questions?
What if I volunteer somewhere and I don't like it?
If you volunteer somewhere you don't like it, you're not obligated, and that's one of the positive things. You're not obligated, so therefore, if you are not happy somewhere, feel free to move on. Any other questions? Thank you.